everybody, and welcome to another episode of SportsLine. I'm Cody Barr, and alongside of me is Brendan Rigney.
We have a great show planned, full of your LaSalle sports, news, previews, and highlights.
So let's get right into it with some game recaps. Brendan?
The men's tennis team has been on the quit a lot since last week, starting on September 20th with day one of a three-day tournament. In the St. Joe's Invitational, LaSalle struggled to get some wins as their only victory came during a consolation matchup. Senior Joe LeBate and freshman Brian Balico won their consolation matchup by a score of 8-7. The Explorers dropped a close matchup against St. Joe's when junior Tom McLeod and Robert Cassano lost 8-6. LaSalle junior Andrew O'Connell and junior Mark Robinson had a tough time with their doubles matchup as they were shut out 8-0.
Day two of the Invitational was full of singles matches. LaSalle only managed to get victories in consolation matchups in singles as well. Freshman Mark Robinson was the only one who was able to send the match into 3 sets in their main draw. Robinson lost the third set by a score of 10-7. Junior Dale Fetterman won his consolation match in 3 sets against city rival Drexel. Junior Tom McLeod also had a victory in his match after winning the first and third set.
September 22nd, day 3, junior Andrew O'Connell was able to win 2 straight single matches in the consolation bracket before losing in the championship. O'Connell's first win came against St. Joe's, losing the first set and winning the next 2. His second victory came against Villanova. O'Connell got a win in the first set and then was able to get a hard-fought victory in the third set by a score of 10-7.
On September 25th, the men's tennis team took on the University of Sciences at home. LaSalle got the win by a final score of 5-2. Junior Andrew O'Connell earned LaSalle 2 points with a singles victory, and by teaming up with freshman Mark Robinson in doubles play. The final score of the doubles matchup ended in a close 8-6 match. O'Connell dominated in the singles match by winning both sets 6-0 and 6-1. Contributing to singles victory from LaSalle were juniors Dale Fetterman, Tom McLeod, and freshman Brian Balico. Each of their victories lasted only 2 sets.
On September 21st, women's field hockey took on the Liberty Flames at home. Check out this coverage of the victory.
September 22nd, LaSalle field hockey played against the Liberty Flames. Liberty got on the board in the first half after scoring their first and last goal of the game.
Told them that they're going to come out really strong in the second half and we need to keep up the intensity. We made a couple of tactical adjustments just to make sure that we were doing what we needed to do to be successful.
In the second half, the Explorers scored 2 goals, putting out the Flames and ending the game 2-1.
Just continue doing what we've been doing and capitalizing on opportunities. I think we've been playing well. Our possession has been looking good.
Next, the Explorers take on UPenn on Wednesday, September 25th.
On Wednesday, September 25th, the Explorers traveled down the road to take on city rival UPenn. Senior Marielle Papa scored her 5th goal of the season just 7 minutes into regulation. Sophomore Juliana Carfagno had the assist, her 6th of the season. UPenn managed to score before the half and then again 2 more times before the 50th minute of play. LaSalle tried to stage a comeback. Olivia Shoemaker converted an assist by Maddie Tettelbach with only a minute left in regulation. However, they could not find the back of the cage again before time ran out. LaSalle dropped to Penn 3-2. Goalie Lisa Schaefer recorded 13 saves, bringing her season total up to an impressive 80.
The 6-1 Lady Explorers soccer team traveled north to battle the Lady Huskies of the University of Connecticut on September 19th. Both teams struggled to find the back of the net as the game remained scoreless throughout 90 minutes of play. The Lady Huskies came out of their den placing 2 shots on redshirt sophomore Jessica Wiggins, adding to her career-high 10-save showcase. It was not until the 108th minute of play that Husky Stephanie Ribeiro sent the ball in the back of the net, placing the Huskies over the Explorers 1-0. Explorers fall to 6-2 on the season, just past the halfway point of their young season.
Coming off a chilling double overtime loss to UConn on Thursday, the Lady Explorers traveled next door to take on the Lehigh Mountain Hawks Monday evening. The Explorers continued to pressure the Hawks' nest throughout the first half of play, placing 7 shots on junior keeper Ashley Blanks. With 3 minutes remaining in the first half, junior Kelsey Haycock found Kelsey Celine in the front of the net off the corner kick, slipping the ball past the Lehigh defense, putting the Explorers up 1-0 heading into halftime. Coming out of the half, the Explorers continued to keep up the pressure, placing 18 shots on the Mountain Hawks. The Lady Explorers defense, led by junior keeper Katie Getzinger, helped the Explorers sail to their 4th shutout of the year, advancing to 7-2 overall. Next up for the Explorers is crosstown foe Drexel.
As for men's soccer, freshman Jacob Smolinski took to the field with Gavin Lichtenstein to cover Saturday the 21st game over the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. Take a look.
From the start of this past Saturday's home game against Lehigh, LaSalle looked to be in control over the Mountain Hawks. But after a number of harrowing drives to the goal, the offense spent the first half trying to make something happen while the defense held their line. Senior John McCarthy once again demonstrated his leadership on the field as a commanding presence, holding the Mountain Hawks scoreless. On the offensive end, the Explorers fell into a nice groove in the second half, connecting in the 74th minute with a goal from Dan Kaya, heading it in the midst of a scramble for possession. Then, around 5 minutes later, LaSalle rallied with junior Tom Baker coming out on top with a header over the goalie. Baker had a strong game, playing fast up top, giving the forwards a lot to work with. Finally, the last goal came at the 86th minute with senior Glenroy Chapman using his speed to outrun the defenders and lead on the goalie for a breakaway score. The Explorers have shown a lot of improvement since the beginning of the season, and things are looking up. The record is now 2-3-2, and LaSalle heads to Florida to play the Stetson Hatters Saturday the 28th. Also, congrats to McCarthy with the 25th shutout of his career, the most ever at LaSalle. Let's see if the Explorers can bring their record to 500 on the road next week. Until next time, I'm Jacob Smolinski.
Heading down to Memphis, Tennessee on September 20th, the volleyball team faced a tough duo of opponents in the Memphis Tigers and the Austin Peay Governors on day 1 of the Tiger Invitational Tournament. The blue and gold were unable to defeat either opponent, falling in straight sets to both squads. On Saturday the 21st, the Explorers took on the UALR Trojans, still struggling on offense. The team fell once again in straight sets. Redemption for the Explorers came with freshman Ashley Felton being named to the all-tournament team at the middle hitter position, where she compiled 9 kills and 5 block assists throughout the tournament.
On Wednesday, September 25th, the volleyball team returned home after a long road game streak to take on NJIT. Take a look.
Finally back at home, the volleyball team took on NJIT on September 25th, missing a key player in Kelly Perillo.
It was hard. Elena Lamping came in and replaced her. You know, that's what we did basically. We just had Elena, who's a sophomore, replace her. But, you know, Elena's more of a middle hitter, I think, than anything.
Set 1 started off strong for the Explorers with a 5-0 lead. They managed to pull away to bring it to 11-4, but NJIT went on multiple scoring streaks to come back and take the set 25-18. Set 2 had a similar pattern, with the Explorers taking an early lead. Once NJIT came back and tied it up, the game was back and forth. Junior Jen Whalen served for the set at 26-25, but the Highlanders had a 3-point run and took the second set 26-28. Coming off such a close set 2, set 3 started out back and forth, but the Explorers fell into a rut, allowing NJIT to take 10 unanswered points. The Explorers were unable to come back and fell in the third set, resulting in another game loss for the Explorers. Despite the loss, the Explorers had many standout performances. On top of the individual performances, the team's front line dominated the net in blocking.
The blocking was really good. The blocking was good, but this is a team we thought we should have beat. So we know what to do at this point. I think we've talked a lot to them. They know what to do. You know, it's in their hands, basically.
The Explorers have their first A-10 match against George Mason up next.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, be sure to catch Rohan Brown as he sits down with a student athlete.
Then we will explore the latest headlines and tell you what game to watch in this week's marquee matchup, so stay tuned.
You always made sure I brushed my teeth.
You told me that smart was cool.
You always told me to dream big.
To all of those parents who took the time to make raising their children their most important job, we'd like to say,
thank you.
Thank you.
From the bottom of my heart, thanks, Mom and Dad.
This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hello, my name is Rohan Brown. You are watching another interview segment on SportsLine. I'm here with Olivia Leaman. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. How's the season going?
It's going well. We actually just had a game against Liberty last Sunday, and we won 2-1, which is a big win for us because we lost to them last year. So we were pretty happy to come out and have a good game this Sunday. Season's going well. We're not necessarily winning as much as we'd like, but our coaches are happy with our performance, and we're doing a lot of really great things.
That's good to hear. What position do you actually play?
I am center back, so I'm a lot of the eyes and ears of what's going on in the backfield of the field and communicating it up through the rest of our lines.
So you're a defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've read about you, of course. You appeared in all 19 games last season.
I did.
You led the Atlantic 10 with 4 defensive saves, and you were ranked 13th nationally, am I correct?
Yes.
Now, what plans do you have for this season?
We would like to do stay undefeated on our home field, and we'd really like to take it back to what was 2 years ago and make the A10 conference tournament again.
Now, how have you grown as a freshman since being a freshman?
Yeah, so from my freshman year, I came in very timid, very quiet, which is something that a defender should not be. But I came in, and as I played some more, my confidence grew quite a bit, and now I'm honestly one of the loudest and most vocal people on the field, which is really good for a defender.
So coming into your junior year, you become more of a leader. Now, when did you start playing field hockey?
I started playing field hockey when I was 7 or 8. We had camps around Lancaster County, so I started doing little camps, and in 7th grade was able to start competing at a competitive level.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So what made you come to LaSalle?
I really liked the coach, and I knew that I wanted a Division I program, but I knew that I also wanted a small school, so nothing too big. And when I came, I remember my parents looking and saying, "Do you think she likes it?" My mom said, "I think this is the one." So it definitely fit very well, and I really liked it.
So what do you like the most about LaSalle? Is it the LaSalle community or that fact that's in Philadelphia?
A little bit of both. I like there's always something to do, but I really like the community and being able to just know everybody on campus, having such a small school and just having a tight-knit community.
All right, we're going to get a little more personal. I hope you don't mind, all right? So what was one of the worst games you ever played in?
It's a tough one. We had a tough loss just this season, thinking back to Pacific on, I guess it would have been Friday, and we just didn't come out necessarily ready as we could have in the first half, which really kind of stank because we lost by a goal, or we lost by 1 goal. So if we'd come out in the first half, I feel like a 2-1 loss might be harder than a 5-0 loss, knowing that we didn't come out as prepared as we could have.
Okay. And what is one of the best games you ever had played?
Again, just this last game we played on Sunday, we weren't necessarily expecting to come out there and blow them out of the water, and this game was dedicated to our captain, Maddie Tettelbach's younger cousin, Olivia Page Kinney, so it was really nice to come out and have that win for her.
Personally, who do you say is a hero to you?
I really look up to my mom and my dad. They've always taught me to work very hard for everything, that nothing was really going to come easy and be handed to me. So I think they're both really good examples of that, and they both work very hard, and I just look up to them a lot.
All right. Now, as we were walking here, I seen you with a Tinkerbell book bag.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess, is Peter Pan your favorite kid movie?
I do like Peter Pan, but I'm also a big fan of Tangled that Disney came out with.
Tangled?
Big fan.
Is that the only movie you really watched or interested in as a kid?
No. I loved all the Disney movies. I had stuffed animals, Lion King, 101 Dalmatians, you name it, and I probably watched it.
So, sorry, I'm a Aladdin fan.
Big
it was
fan.
way better than Tangled.
Ride?
Yeah, of course. So did you play any other sports besides field hockey, or was that your passion?
Oh, no, I did it all. Started with soccer when I was little and thought that I was going to be on the U.S. Olympic team. That one died really quickly in middle school. I also did swimming, I did track, basketball, field hockey, softball, and like I said, played soccer.
All right, so you played a little basketball?
A little bit.
For how long?
I actually played from kindergarten until my junior year of high school.
Oh.
That was big time. We'll go one-on-one.
You want to play me? We can do that if you want, right after
go.
this. But one more thing, your teammates, who do you connect with the most?
Truthfully, this sounds really cliche, but the whole team, really. I really feel very close to every one of them, from the freshmen up to the seniors. We all get along really well. We hang out with each other outside of field hockey, and it doesn't feel forced when we have to hang out together. So it's nice to be able to enjoy the company of your teammates when you have to be out of practice every day. So.
All right, one question really quick. Time is running out. What is your most embarrassing athletic moment?
Oh, geez. Field hockey-wise, when you have the wet turf and you just fall out of nowhere and no one's around you, it's always a good one. But when I was in 7th grade, I played goalie for soccer, and I punted the ball backwards straight into the net. So that was kind of unfortunate.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right.
But that's all the time we have. This was Olivia Leaman, part of the women's field hockey team. It was nice having you.
Nice to be here.
We'll be back after this break.
For others, it may have just been a summer job. But for me, it was training. Now I'm an Air Force pararescueman, and my job is to save lives. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Welcome back. Now let's get into exploring headlines. Attention all alumni and fans of LaSalle Swimming and Diving. You are invited to support the program by attending a golf outing at Plymouth County Country Club on October 14th. The cost of a round of golf is $225, but don't worry, $110 of that is tax deductible. If golf isn't your thing and you still want to contribute, dinner and cocktails will be served as well for tickets that only cost $100, but again, over half of that is tax deductible. To register, log on to goexplorers.com by October 7th.
The baseball program is also hosting a golf outing. On October 14th, the same day as the swim and dive team's outing, baseball alumni and fans are invited to Westover Country Club for a round of golf. It's $175 per golfer, with $95 of that being tax deductible. Non-golfers are welcome to pay $90 to enjoy dinner at the event, which will also have an auction featuring sports memorabilia and golf packages. To register for the event, go to explorers.com before October 13th.
The women's soccer team is on top again. The Explorers, who improved to 7-2 with their win against Lehigh, reclaimed their top rank in the Mid-Atlantic Regional Poll. The results of the poll were released by the National Soccer Coaches Association of America. LaSalle beat out James Madison, Navy, Boston University, and Hofstra to snag the top spot.
Men's soccer goalie senior John McCarthy was named Philadelphia Soccer's sixth Defender of the Week for the second consecutive week. This time around, however, McCarthy had to share the recognition with Drexel's goalkeeper Tyler Athlerbach. Regardless, McCarthy snagged his 25th career shutout this past week, a new record for the men's soccer program. He also now ranks 4th in history with 380 career saves.
After another quick break, Amanda Keaton will tell you which game to watch during the upcoming week in Marquee matchup. But first, we're excited to debut our new commercial for the 2013 season. Check it out.
We'll get you ready for the game.
Hello everyone, my name is Amanda Keaton, and I'll be dishing out this week's game to watch in this edition of Marquee Mashup. The men's soccer team is taking on city rival Villanova University on October 2nd. The team will take the field here at McCarthy Stadium at 7 p.m., so be sure to mark your calendars now. Let's take a look at two explorers you should keep your eye on during the game. Goalkeeper John McCarthy is already having a pretty stellar season. The senior has been named Philadelphia Soccer's 6th Defender of the Week for the second straight week. His goals against average spiked thanks to the shutout against Lehigh. He now boasts an almost perfect .96. He has played over 560 minutes so far this season and has only given up 6 goals to opponents. McCarthy needs to stay in the peak form and keep Villanova from getting ahead. Also, keep an eye on Joe Farrell. Last year, as a freshman, Farrell scored 3 games-winning goals for the Blue and Gold. He has yet to score a goal this season and has been contributing on a less dramatic scale. He has 2 recorded assists, but only 1 shot on goal. If Farrell wants to be a top performer again, this year he needs to step up, and now is the best time to because A-10 play is just around the corner. And now for the keys of the game. The Explorers need to be able to handle playing without the constant support of veteran standout Jason Plumhoff. The senior leads the team in goals scored against assists, so you can bet the Nova defense will be constantly marking him. LaSalle needs to react to the pressure and adjust on the field accordingly. Perhaps this will open the door for Farrell to boost his season stats. And finally, just as we said last week, LaSalle needs to come out strong from the first whistle and be the first on the board. The Explorers have not scored in the first half since the game against Bucknell on the first week of September. While they tend to limit goals against the first, they need to take every open shot they can in order to get ahead and stay ahead. So remember, if you're looking for an exciting game, check out the men's soccer team on Wednesday, October 2nd at McCarthy Stadium. It shouldn't disappoint. If you can't make it, keep up with us on Twitter or tune into our next episode of SportsLine. We will be sure to have video coverage of the game on our next episode. Now, back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Amanda. So if you're looking for a good game to check out this weekend, hit up the men's soccer game against Villanova. And if you can't make it, here you can watch our next episode for some coverage. Here's a quick peek at other home games that are scheduled for this weekend for the Explorers. Some bad news. We will not be there to cover the volleyball games this weekend. Sorry. I know you're looking forward to it, but we will be there to cover the field hockey game. We have people going to cover that, and special little surprise, we have people going to cover the rugby game that is taking place on Sunday night. I believe it starts at 7:20, so we will have coverage of those games for next week, as well as the coverage of the men's soccer game against Villanova that is taking place on Wednesday, so you can look forward to next episode when we're going to be debuting those. But moving on to a little bit about the volleyball team, they're 1-16 and they're heading into A10 soon. And we haven't heard what's been going on with Kelly Perillo, and she was on the show. You know, she's one of the best players on the team. You nervous?
A little bit. 1-16 is never a good sign for a volleyball team, even despite the fact that they have a very skilled player in Kelly Perillo. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that, but I'm not nervous about the field hockey team. Although their record, doesn't really show much for the effort that they've been putting in, I think that, they're going to come around and they're going to prep well for the A10 tournament. And I'm almost certain that Heather Beretta is going to be back. She was out for the past couple of games with a concussion, and she's one of their best defensive players. So hopefully as she returns, the defense will be able to, stop all those goals from coming in, and maybe they'll get a couple more wins.
One can hope. High hopes,
Yeah. So other games that's happening. We got volleyball, we said. We have soccer game. Soccer. Speaking of men's soccer, they're probably on a flight right now to Florida.
Florida. How about that?
Who's jealous? I am. They are. I forget who they're playing, but it's at Stenson University, I think it is. And they get to travel this weekend, get to leave and go hang out in Florida and play a game instead of
jealous,
being here.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be cold this weekend, so they're lucky that they get to hang out in Florida in the nice sun. So
I wish I could get my tan on, but
yeah,
it's whatever.
It's all right.
Anyway, be sure to keep up with us this weekend's sporting events by following us on Twitter at SportsLine LTV. We will be posting game updates as well as sneak peeks into our upcoming show. Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions about the show on either website.
For Brendan and our entire SportsLine team, I'm Cody Barr, and we'll see you at the game.